Okay, I'm not sure what to make of this, but I think the Zoom is frozen. I'll still continue. The picture is frozen. Tov. Omar Ove, Omar of Chase. Yeah, we all good? Or can we continue? Of Metzia NZA. Nun Zayin Amud Aleph. NZ, New Zealand. Of Metzia Nun Zayin Amud Aleph. Or back to life, Baruch Hashem, Hashem b'moichel v'avoynes, shoivivim. It's time to be Chazer b'tshuva, time to be Mischazik in Toire. Bezras Hashem, the light of the Torah should penetrate our hearts. And what did we say yesterday and the day before? The day before that Oino'o does not apply to Karkos. In the third line, Omar Rove, as an introduction, we all know that En Oino'o Karkos, which means when the Torah gave the prohibition of overpricing or underpricing, the Torah uses the loshon miyad amitecho, only something that can be physically given. Look, hand to hand, but something that cannot be given hand to hand, which is the karka. You can't take an entire apartment unless your name is Superman. You can't take a building or mamash an acre of land and transfer them manually. And therefore, to those things, the Torah did not apply the issur of oino, of oino, which is over underpricing. Shh. Omarove. Now comes the Gemara asking us in one simple word, how far does that go? How far do we go with that? Yeah, what did we say? If I overpriced someone, before we continue, intro, you tell me the apartment is worth what? 6 million. Okay, and you sold it for 6.5. That's okay. 6.5, 6.75, right? Even 7 is still what? 7 is oino. And if it was socks or shoes, that would be a problem. But because it's a karka, a 6 is not oino, and oino doesn't apply. And the buyer cannot complain that he was schwindel, that he was this for $1 million extra, because it's just a 6. If it was socks and shoes, and instead of 6 shekels, the guy charged 7 shekels, he can go back and get the extra, you get the 1 shekel back. But if we talk about karkois, then it doesn't apply, and the Zoom is worse than whatever. Weiter. Okay, so far so good. Now, Amar of Chase. Boy Rabbi Ami. Rabbi Ami asks a question. Oino en lahem. They don't have oino. Karkois, avodim, shtoras, all their friends, the chevra. There's no oino. Bitul mekach yesh lahem or en lahem? Bitul mekach. What's bitul mekach? If it gets too far, let's say the amount that you were schwindled was, you were cheated was more than a 6, which by regular metaltalin, what would be the halacha? Bitul mekach. Not just the extra money back, but the whole deal would be canceled, would be off. The question is, it's very long, this is the question explained by Rashi, which we saw yesterday. When it's a karka, and instead of 6 million, I sold it to you for 7.5 million, or 7 point something million, more than a 6, then it's a very long, this is a question. What's the question? Do we say, listen, I know, whether it's $1 million extra or 10 million extra, I know. It's just a quantitative thing, not qualitative, it's quantitative. And if the Torah says no, baby, you're saying everyone else in the area sells this house for 2 million and I sold it for 4 million. I don't want to stick out my tongue because it's not nice to do that in YouTube, but sorry. And in all the karkois, however high the amount is. On the other hand, we can say no. We can say that once halacha already defined it a few mishnayos ago as bitul mekach, yeah. Bitul mekach is mekach tos, which means if I want to buy a house and instead of a house you're selling me a petrol station. You know it's a petrol station? Wow, gee. So my wife and I fill gas in 2 different places. Yeah, she goes to the petrol station and I go to the gas station. And what? And it's a petrol station and not a house. It's mekach tos. It's just not the product I was looking for. So if the difference in price is ad kedei kach for bitul mekach, that indicates it's not it's a different item, it's a different quality, not quantity. And therefore, in such a case, says Rashi, maybe we have a question, we have it sad to say that really, in that case, even by karkois, that would be a canceled deal. What did Tosfos say? Tosfos says not over 6. Tosfos says that the question begins only after double, which means if the house is worth 2 million, let me stay with the easy numbers. The house in Ramat Chemish is worth 3 million. That's, I think it is. Yeah, nice apartment here, 3 million for sure. And what? And you sold it for up to 6 million is not a question. Excuse me 1 second. I'll be with you soon. If it's 6 million double, that's when we have it start to say that you are, that you are there's the bitul mekach. Yeah, past that there's already is bitul mekach. Yes. Sure. Thank you. Weiter says the Gemara. Omar Rav Nachman comes and says, Hadar Omar Rav Chasa, after Rav Chasa quoted Rabbi Ami as asking a question, now he says he actually answered himself. Poshit Rabbi Ami. Rabbi Ami himself, what's Poshit? He answered, he resolved his own question, and he says, Oh no, en lehem, bitul mekach yesh lehem. Bitul mekach does apply. Bitul mekach applies from what point? From, according to Tosfos, double, the Firashi, more than 6 than the price. But bitul mekach applies when it gets too much. What's too much? Question. But too much, then already it's not considered. Oh, it's not too much price. It's a whole different level to the level of mekachtos. Like you're asking to buy a green shirt and give you a blue shirt, nothing to do with price. It's just not what I'm looking for. Rabbi Yoina. Oh, now that's where we more or less paused yesterday, and I gave you the papers if you want to look at them. And basically, as an introduction, let me tell you something which will be a nice intro, and then everything will be easy, Bezos Hashem. Up until now, we spoke about Kolkois, Avodim, and I conveniently ignored Hekdeshos. When it comes to Hekdesh, the rules of game may be or may not be different. Hekdesh, let's say, it's, by the way, it doesn't make a difference what somebody said yesterday. It's either a Gizbar or a private guy who's selling Hekdesh. Who sells Hekdesh? Well, the Gizbar. Like you have an Avos Ubanim store, a store with all different toys, for the kids of Avos Ubanim. There's a Hekdesh store. People are makdish to Beis Hamikdash, a ring, a shoe, computer, makdish, and then the Gizbar has to sell it, right? When you sell it, it's not a regular sale. What is it? You point at the kedusha. The kedusha, if I dedicate my computer to Beis Hamikdash, the computer becomes holy, right? And what? And if somebody else wants to redeem it, he has to give money. The kedusha will go on the money, and the computer will be kedusha free, right? Oh, that process. What did we say? And let's say my computer is worth 6,000 shekels, halavai, and the Gizbar is now, somebody gave Beis Hamikdash up to 7,000, 6 more. Is there any complaint? No. 6 more or 6 less by Hekdeshos still applies both ways. And the kedusha, the kedusha is out. Why? Whether the amount is more than a 6 or less in a 6, it's still okay. There is no oino. But obviously the question is, what would you say about bitul mekach? What would you say about bitul mekach? What happens if the difference between the real price of the computer of Hekdesh or the cow that has a blemish, same thing, yeah? And I want to redeem it, and the difference was more than a 6 in each direction, what would be then? What did we just say about karka? About karka, we said that bitul mekach yesh lahem. We have come very easily, by the way, surprisingly for the Gemara, to conclusion. When it's a secular piece of land, stam, a house in the Shemesh, anything, you said overpriced, yeah? Then what? Then bitul mekach applies. And I may come back to the guy and say, you swindled me. Every other house in the same house, same thing, not well kept. Same house exactly. Everyone else sells for how much? To sell it instead of 6, you charged me 8 or 7 and something. No deal. I can cancel the deal. Only don't have in Karkos, right? Up to a 6. But more than a 6, it's a cancel deal. And according to Tosfos, double the amount. That's when it's canceled. The question is, what about the kedusha? Are we going to say by Hekdesh the same thing? That if the difference in price between what I gave Hekdesh and the actual item which I want to remove the kedusha from, do we also say that there's no but there's bitul mekach, or is there bitul mekach? In simple words, when the difference in price between the object and what I'm giving for the object for Hekdesh, when I go to Hekdesh store, do we also say over there that there is bitul mekach? And when the difference is really high, what's really high? According to Rashi, 6. According to Tosfos, 100%. What do we say then? So it's a line which is a bit broken in the Gemara, sort of, and that's why yesterday I was like, I'll read and I'll translate as I go along. Rabbi Yoina Omar Hekdeshos. Rabbi Yoina is now starting to talk about Hekdesh, and he says something about Hekdesh, and later he'll continue the sentence. Rabbi Yirmiyah Omar Akarkois. Rabbi Yirmiyah said whatever Rabbi Yoina said about Hekdeshos, Rabbi Yirmiyah says about Karka, land. V'tarvayum shmei Rabbi Yochanan Omru. Both of them quoted Rabbi Yochanan, and they argue about what did Rabbi Yochanan say. What did Rabbi Yochanan say? Oyno en lahem. They both said, one says about hekdesh and one about karka. There's no oyno, and then we all know hekdesh and karka, oyno doesn't apply, right? If the difference is the six, no, you can't complain neither for karka nor for hekdesh. Bitul mekach yesh lahen. Oh, bitul mekach yesh lahen, which means when we talk about bitul mekach, what's bitul mekach? When it's too high, the difference is really more than a six or more than double, right? Then bitul mekach applies. Applies to what? According to Rabbi Yoina, that's in your chart. Rabbi Yoina says a hekdesh, bitul mekach applies. Rabbi Yoina says that if I gave let's say Tzvi wants to buy my hekdesh animal, I have a nice sheep frolicking around where? My backyard, and it's an oilo, and there's a blemish. You want to buy, how much it's worth? 1,000 shekels, and you mistakenly gave me much more or much less. You gave me either 500 or 2,000, way more, way of a difference. Says Rabbi Yoina, bitul mekach yesh lahen. It's not a deal, which means the kedusha was not removed. The kedusha was not removed unless it's the right price or close to the right price. Now, explains the Gemara. I'm stopping with Rabbi Yonah and continuing the Gemara. Mein domar ekdeshos, Rabbi Yonah, which are just quoted, that says that even by hekdesh, the price does not have to be right. Yeah, ekdeshos we say what? That if it's not the right price, no, then nothing happened. You can't go on. The kedusha is not removed. Kol shekin akarkois, all the more so about karka. I'm not explaining yet why, but soon I will. From some reason, we say as follows: by hekdesh, and Shlomo said something very nice yesterday at the end of the shiur, and this is something you have to listen to me very carefully now, because that's going to be a key sentence for the entire page today. If you're losing me now, you lose me afterwards. By hekdesh, to give the right price is lichoyer does make a difference. Why? There's a big difference between doing business, in which you can say, listen, this apartment is 4 million. You're regular. Who are you? Are you Hashem? You're not Hashem. You're selling me a house of 4 million for how much? For 5 million, for 6 million, for 2 million more, a third more. Not a done deal. I hope it's a mistake. I hope you're not a swindler. You're either mistaken. You're trying to make a quick buck on an innocent, naive American. It's not a deal. I'm sorry. Yeah, that makes sense when by Kirkois. By Hekdesh, and I'm saying now not like Rabbi Yoina, by hekdesh, the simple svara, the axiom, not the axiom, the svara we begin with is hekdesh is something which is more like neder. If I say that I want the kedusha of that sheep worth 1,000 to be removed by giving 500 or by giving even 100, it makes more sense to say that the kedusha is removed. Why? Hekdesh is all about what you say. It's like nedarim. I'm basing myself on Tosfos read. In other words, if I say this, there's a Gemara in Kiddushin Daf Kafches, there's a Mishnah that says, whatever kinyan is done by Bechulin, how do I get your sheep? Can you sell me your sheep? Yeah, you're really nice. I thought it was for sale. So there are no Australians. We used to have Australians. Here. So now, your toy sheep. I want to buy your toy sheep. How do I do it? Meshicha. As long as you agree, I do Meshicha. How do you do hekdesh? How does hekdesh acquire stuff? By dibur. When I say that sheep is hekdesh, it's hekdesh. I don't have to do any actions. By hekdesh, the speaking, it's like a neder. And therefore the amounts don't make that much of a difference. Rashi says, mito, who's making a mistake here? Rashi says it many times. There's no mistake by hekdesh. If Tzvi decided that he wants to remove the kedusha of my animal worth 2,000 with a 500, it's a spiritual thing. The hekdesh is removed. The kedusha is removed. That's it. The kedusha is removed. And therefore what? And therefore there's a tzad to say by hekdesh that the amounts don't have to fit because it's not business. It's removing a spiritual thing. Yeah. Mimela. But Rabbi Yoina doesn't say that. Rabbi Yoina says hekdeshas have bitul mekach. Rabbi Yoina says that, and now you're going to get it much better. The line starts with the word yesh lahen. Mandomar hekdeshos. If in spite of what we said, we still say Rabbi Yoina thinks what? That by hekdesh, you do have to have the right price, and there is bitul mekach otherwise, you do have to fit in the price, at least within the 6 margin of error. Kol shekin akarkois, all the more so akarkois, of course, is bitul mekach, as we just said, right? Of course, bekarka, if I overprice a person that can make a mistake and lie and shvindle, of course there's bitul mekach. But ma domar karkois, now we're talking to a birmia. The one who says in karka, we say bitul mekach, which means if karka, the price is really not right, aval kedusha loy. No. Hekdesh, no. But hekdesh, as I just explained to you, hekdesh is not business. Hekdesh is not about me buying from hekdesh. There's also that aspect. We'll talk about it. But the etzem, we're talking about the spiritual thing of removing the kedusha. I'll give you another example. Hekdesh, I hope I'm not wrong. Hashem yazor li for my chatoim. I hope I'm not wrong, but I'll give you another example. Yeah, you stood under the huppah once in your life, Yofi. And what did you tell her? This tabat can be worth 10 agorot. Is your wife worth 10 agorot? We were on YouTube. I think we have a woman also there. Yeah. No way. Don't share that at home. Obviously not. Elama, it's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual kinyan. Her loyalty to you, that now she becomes an Eshes, that is bought by a symbolic thing of a pruta. That's all. And the Shammai say you need a dinar. Yeah. In other words, when we talk about buying something spiritual, we don't have to sweat over the exact amount. And this is what Rabbi Yirmiyah says according to Rabbi Yochanan. Look at your papers. Rabbi Yirmiyah and Rabbi Yonah both argue within the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan. Ked Shmuel. Now, Rabbi Yirmiyah is supported by Shmuel, the Omer Shmuel. Here comes sort of like a punchline here, which we've seen before. Shmuel says, Hekdesh shove money. You have a hekdesh worth money. And by the way, Baruch, it's not dafka with or without gizbar. It doesn't make a difference. Yeah? It's either sold privately or by the company, by some hekdesh. Hekdesh shove money. Hekdesh is worth, a money is a colossal amount of money. It's 100 dinarim. Hekdesh shove money. Shechila lo el shve pruta. I have a 10,000 shekel sheep, very, very expensive sheep, and it's oila or shlomim or something, jumping around my house. My wife really enjoys it. And what? And there's a blemish there. I want to redeem it. Tzvi has the money to redeem it, maybe. And then Tzvi says, okay, I'm giving you one pruta. Don't mind being the guy in the story, right? I'm giving you one pruta, and then the sheep is redeemed. Ooh, mechulal. The kedusha is out. Wow. So you see, yes, Shmuel seems to be holding more, I would say the other way. According to, the chart is not so good at that. According to Rabbi Yirmiyah, Rabbi Yochanan and Shmuel say the same thing. Shmuel for sure said what he said. Rabbi Yochanan have an argument what he said. According to Rabbi Yirmiyah, Rabbi Yochanan said, like Shmuel, that the difference between we say in Hebrew, haratzui v'hamatzui. In Hebrew, it's arrived. Yeah, how do you say it in English? The difference between what there is and what you want, the reality and the desired, can be very high. Reality is the sheep is worth 10,000. Go to the Arab in the shuk, he'll give you 10,000. But to remove the kedusha, yeah, there's no bitul mekach. No bitul mekach means what? It works. The kedusha was removed, and now you can take it home and make barbecue that tzvi. Now, do you still owe me money? That's a different story. But the kedusha itself is removed. The business we do, the removing the kedusha, is different to the business we do between two regular human beings, in which we do have to have how much? Again, if it's regular karka that I buy from Ellen, your nice apartment in the Lev, let's say I want to buy it from you, you can overcharge me how much? Up to a 6, or according to Tosfos, up to 100%. If it's worth 3 million, according to Tosfos, up to 6. Beyond that, no. Even though it's karka, there's a gvul. There's a limit to how much you can overcharge karka. By hekdesh, there's no limit. One pruta for 100 mana, forget about my bad math. I don't know. It's a million times. It's a lot more. 100 dinar, you can start making cheshbon. The pruta is it's a fraction of the price, and yet the kedusha is removed. That's what Shmuel says, and that is what, according to Rabbi Yirmiyah, that's what Rabbi Yochanan said. That is adkan, one basis for the sugya. Now we're going to see a Mishnah with Machlokes Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish. Yofi, weiter. Tnan Hosom, we learned over there, we learned in Erchin Mistoma, where is it? Tnan in Tmura, sorry. We learned the Mishnah in Tmura. Im hoya kodesh ba'almum. Mamish the case we spoke about. You have an animal who's, by the way, trivia question, for the Shabbos table. What happens if my sheep or my shepsele or my whatever is not ba'almum? Let's say, kulach yofa rayosi umum ein boch, yeah? Let's say really there's no mum bichlal in the animal. And Tzvi said, okay, I want to remove the kedusha from the animal by giving a pruta. What would be then? Kedusha is not removed. Not good, it's an avera. If it's one animal to the other animal, what? It's right for the mizbech. If Tzvi has another cow and he wants to switch and he says the kedusha is removed from one to the other, first of all, the kedusha will not be cut and paste, will be copy and paste. A good example. Copy and paste. The kedusha will stay on the good animal and will be added, duplicated in the one. Plus, you never nisra doraisa of lo yomil. So that's not the case. There Rashi says that's what I'm saying it. What happens if the animal is Baal Mum? The animal cannot go to the Mizbech. So all he can do with it is what? Money for Beis HaMikdash, to buy another animal. So then that's our story. What does the Mishnah have to say about that? Imaya Kodesh Baal Mum. If the Kodesh one, the animal which has kedusha is Baal Mum, Yetze le Chulin, then it goes out to Chulin, even if what? Even if it's worth much less. Which means if Tzvi wants to buy my animal one pruta for 100 shekels, then what? The animal is free of kedusha. Oh, says the Mishnah, I'm sorry, Tzvi, I'm waiting around the corner, that let's say you redeemed the kedusha of my animal, or Beis HaMikdash animal, let's say the animal is worth how much again? 1,000. And you gave 100, everything is good, the kedusha is removed, but you have a small debt outstanding of 900. So, as we saw in the Rambam, you have to give to be mashlim, how do you say, to complete the sum, yeah, to come up with the rest of the sum, then you have to separately, but the kedusha was removed even by symbolic amount, which means, oh, now the question is, how do you define that? Oh, I gave an example of what? 1,000 and only 100. That's way, way, way over bitul mekach, right? Now, says the Gemara, that's not wrong, it's just one way of reading the Mishnah. Now, why is it that I have to come up with the rest of the money? Do I have to come up with the rest of the money because it's my money? Because because it's still owed money? Or do we say that in order for the kedusha to be removed fully, then you have to give the rest of the money? Let's see. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish argue on the Mishnah. Let's just again quickly summarize the Mishnah. Maybe I told you too many things. The Mishnah says one clear thing. If an animal is worth X, and I gave, in order to redeem the kedusha, X minus Y, minus something, I'm not being clear on purpose, then the kedusha is removed. How echulin, the animal can jump around, you can shecht it for your barbecue tonight, but you still have to come up with the rest of the money for whichever reason. I'm not saying why. Yeah, you still have to later on, the old debt stays, and you have to give the rest of the money to the Hekdesh, to the Beis Mikdash, to the owner of the Hekdesh. That's all we said. No questions, no nothing. That's what the Mishnah said. Big machlokes, Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish, that's a noimer amorim. Yeah, the two Amoraim, I know you know, the two Amoraim, Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish, who lived in Israel, they have a machlokes how to interpret the Mishnah. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Yotze lechulin dvar toiro. Midoraisa, it's chulin, no problem. Midoraisa, the Hekdesh functioned very well and was mischalel very well. And soon I'll tell you why. It's a rabbinical ruling. It's midorabanon. Rabbanon said, hey, you're making Hekdesh lose. Let's say it's not Tzvi and I. Let's say it's somebody with Beis HaMikdash. Just to make it clearer, the treasures of Beis HaMikdash, we never want them to lose. Yad Hekdesh al-ha, Elyoina, Baruch. Baruch will be by next Korban, yeah. Let's say Baruch wants to, in Hebrew it's a good word, yeah. Baruch wants to buy something from Beis HaMikdash to redeem the kedusha, and Baruch goes to Beis HaMikdash and he says, I want that shpachtel from Beis HaMikdash, and I'm willing to give 10 shekels for an item worth 100. Okay, no problem. That item is now kedusha free, and the small coin is in the hands of the gizbar, of the treasurer. However, and midoraisa that works. You can go home, nothing would happen. Midorabanon, you have to add the money in order not to make Hekdesh lose. Because Yad Hekdesh al-Elyoina, we don't want Hekdesh to lose. Rabbanon came later on, years later, and they said, don't make Hekdesh lose, be a nice guy. And therefore, in that case, give the extra money. But in Ikradin, the Kedusha is removed. Soon I'll tell you why. The Rish Lakish Omar, Rish Lakish says, no. Aftzorich lasas lodami mina toiro. Opa. Rish Lakish says, no. It's mechulal on condition that you'll come up with the rest of the money. But as long as you didn't come up with the rest of the money, it's like pending. Mechverson had a question, what's the din of the money? Pikodoin, I don't know. There's some kind of twilight zone now, but as long as you didn't come up with 1,000, the Kedusha is not fully off, right? Explains Rashi, I'm not reading Rashi inside, we have enough in the Gemara today. Rashi says, it says in the Torah, the word, when the Torah talks in, I think, Vayikra at the end, it talks about swapping Kedusha, redeeming Kedusha, we say the word be'erkecha, like an extra chof, in your value. What does it mean in your value? In your face, in your value? Machlokes Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan says the strange word be'erkecha means any amount. any amount. The Torah made the Gzeras HaKosu, whether you like it or not, that in order to redeem kedusha, for 1,000,000 shekel car belonging to Hekdesh, you gave 100 shekels, no problem. And Rish Lakish says verkehrt. Rish Lakish says be'erkecho, this particular value, as long as you didn't come up with 1,000,000 shekel, you came with 9,999, not million, not yet fully redeemed. It's not redeemed. That's Machlokas Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. That's Begadol. Okay, I already chose one path, but that's generally the Machlokas. No question for now, because the Gemara will now change something I said. What is the story exactly? You're next, yeah? You tell me why this cannot be. Let's say the difference between the sheep and the whatever, the Hekdesh item and the money wasn't as grand as I said. Let's say it was bichdei oino, which means, let's say the sheep Tzvi wants to buy from me, or the computer that Baruch wants to buy from Beis Hamikdash is worth how much? 6,000, and you gave how much? Yeah, let's say you gave a bit less than 6, you gave 5.5, or even 5, a 6 less, or whatever. Yeah, then could that be an argument? Could then Rish Lakish say, no, there is no Hekdesh? Can't say that. Behol lema Rish Lakish. Could Rish Lakish possibly say in that case, Tzorich lases lodomim dvar Torah? Would Rish Lakish say in many words what? That the Hekdesh doesn't function and the kedusha is not off? You can't say that because our very own Mishnah said not like that. The Hatnan, we said in our Mishnah, Elu dvorim she'en lem oyno. What's oyno? Whenever we say oyno, my good friends, oyno means a 6. Unless we say otherwise, yeah? Those things don't have an, which means what? You should not care if there is a difference of 6. What are these? Akarkois, Bavodim, Ashtoris. Let me scream out loud. Ekdeshois, right? In other words, we're just ruling out, I already told it to you, but we're ruling out an option of how to explain Rabbi Yochanan Rish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan Rish Lakish surely, and I'm going to summarize now, he surely did not argue about a person, you want to buy my sheep of 6,000 and you're offering 5.5 or 5, that's for sure not an argument that of course it's a deal. Of course the kedusha is redeemed. Why? That's what we mean when we say ein oino lekdeshos, which means when it comes to kedeshos, even if there's a difference of 1/6 to each direction, it's okay. That's ein oino lekarkos lekdeshos, right? The only must be what? Must be what did Rabbi Yochanan Rish Lakish argue about? Let me continue one more line. Ela bitul mekach. Now listen to you. Must be, as I told you all along, must be the only time you can listen to Rish Lakish, entertain Rish Lakish's idea that is being so kivyochol nitpicking on the final amount. That is what bitul mekach. My computer is worth 3,000 and you give me 1,000, or the other way. Yeah, that when the difference is more than a 6. Then we say, I don't have to go that far. According to Rashi, what? My computer is worth 6 and you gave me 4,090 something, yeah? Oh, more than a 6 difference. Yeah, forget about the numbers. Yeah. More than a 6 difference. Then, that's argument. That's the argument. And Rabbi Yochanan is the one who said what? That really there is no bitul mekach, which means what? Which means the hekdesh is off. The redeeming happened. And Rish Lakish is the one who's machmir, sticking his feet in the ground and saying, no. There is no, until there is bitul mekach, which means that as long as you didn't properly give the entire amount or close to the entire amount to 6, then the redeeming didn't happen. That's what we say here, and that's going to be a question on one of the opinions. I'm going to summarize soon after your question. I'm going to summarize. We're holding up, and you now can see by the Olam's face that it's not so. I'm going to summarize. You can look at the paper, you can look at me, you can look at wherever you want, look at the ceiling. Yeah, daven to Hashem. We're going to summarize everything till now and then explain why there's a question on Rabbi Yoina. Allow me to make a baraha, please. A blessing to Hashem Yisborah. The kids let's summarize. You're all saying very good things, but I think we need to summarize again. We had a machloikes, Rabbi Yoina and Rabbi, it's a good exercise for me. Rabbi Yoina and Rabbi Yirmiyah argued about what did Rabbi Yochanan say. Right? Did Rabbi Yochanan say, according to Rabbi Yoina says that according to Rabbi Yochanan, bitul mekach yesh lahem, which means what? That according to Rabbi Yochanan, listen carefully. If you listen to me now, you'll see that something in the sugya doesn't work right, and that's going to be the first question. Rabbi Yoina says, let's focus on Rabbi Yoina. According to Rabbi Yochanan, hekdesh, there is bitul mekach, which means If the difference between that prized cow or computer of Hekdesh, which you want to redeem, the difference between the money and the item is too much, whatever that means, that's more than a 6, then no, then Hekdesh doesn't work. And he quotes Rabbi Yochanan as saying it. Rabbi Yirmiyah said no. Rabbi Yirmiyah says no. Rabbi Yochanan believes you can give 1 shekel for 1,000,000. No, bitul mekach. That's what Rabbi Yirmiyah said. And then we brought down Mechlokas Rabbi Yochanan Shlakish how to interpret the Mishnah over there in Tmura. And what did Rabbi Yochanan say over there clearly, the way we understand? Rabbi Yochanan says, no problem. You can go 1 shekel to redeem 1,000,000. Later, pay up later for the eat now, pay later. Have the barbecue of the Hekdesh tonight. Pay me later the other 99. Yeah, credit card. Anybody? That's what? Rabbi Yochanan is absolutely not consistent according to Rabbi Yoina. Rabbi Yoina is in trouble deep. Rabbi Yoina is now in trouble deep, and you should have listened from the beginning of my sentence till the end. According to Rabbi Yoina, something here ain't working right. What did Rabbi Yoina say in Rabbi Yochanan? Yesh bitul mekach be'ekdesh, which is real overpricing. It doesn't work with ekdesh. And the kedusha stubbornly stays there until the last penny, or close to the last penny. Well, clearly Rabbi Yochanan is not saying it here. Rabbi Yochanan here says clearly otherwise in the Mishnah. He says like Rabbi Yirmiyah. He says really that in case of the Mishnah, the kedusha is removed straight away, and the debt is a side thing later. So now the Gemara is going to ask now the question. Now I'm very happy we said that because Frek the Gemara lema line starts with the word ela, more or less in the middle of the page, I think. Yeah, ela bitul mekach. Are we saying that according to Rabbi Yochanan Shlakish, the argument is about big amounts? The whole lema Rabbi Yochanan tzorich latzes lodomi midivreihem. Did Rabbi Yochanan surely say that only midrabanan you have to come up with that debt as a side thing to pay the extra? But the kedusha was removed for this little to that much. The kedusha is removed. Is that so? Somebody here is in trouble. The Omar Rabbi Yoina, his name is Rabbi Yoina. The Omar Rabbi Yoina, kedeshos. What did he say about the kedeshos? We'll see soon. The Rabbi Yirmiyah Omar Akarkois. Rabbi Yirmiyah was careful. He said that all about karka, not about tekdesh. Let's focus on Rabbi Yoina. What did he say? Betalvayu. Both of them said Mishmed Rabbi Yochanan Amri Oyno Ein Lahem Bitul Mekach Yesh Lahem. Big red lines. I'm screaming very hard. Bitul Mekach Yesh Lahem. Bitul Mekach Yesh Lahem, which means what? According to Rabbi Yoina, according to Rabbi Yochanan, there is Bitul Mekach Behekdesh. I explained it yesterday and today. Bitul Mekach Behekdesh means not that it's cancelled. It never really started. According to Shlakish, until you come up with a price, with a full amount, the Hekdesh is stubbornly, spiritually hovering over the animal until you come with almost the entire amount, right? And that's Rish Lakish, not Rabbi Yochanan. So Bekitzer, according to your Rabbi Yoina, you obviously wrong the way you learn Rabbi Yochanan, right? You said Rabbi Yochanan is the one who stubbornly stayed to stay till the end. Here we see Rabbi Yochanan saying not like that, right? He's saying Rabbi Yochanan, no, easy. The kedusha is removed straight away. Yeah, cash as you go right now, eat it now, pay later, right? For them, so you see clearly Rabbi Yoina is stuck in Rabbi Yochanan's opinion. Kivyochol, so stuck. Listen to the answer. Answers the Gemara, and there are going to be several answers. Answer number 1, le'olam bebitul mekach. We still insist that Rabbi Yochanan or Shlakish argued about big amounts, bitul mekach, not within shtus. The epuch der Rabbi Yochanan Shlakish, the Shlakish Rabbi Yochanan. Upa. You have to switch, swap, and whatever you want to call it. Any other words? You have to be machlif. That's a good word in English. You have to switch the opinions. Really, what you thought Rabbi Yochanan said is real. What Shlakish said? What you thought Shlakish said, Rabbi Yochanan said. Yeah, switch, swap, yeah, which means you got it wrong, says Rabbi Yochanan. You're an Amoira, I'm also an Amoira. And you just didn't know. You didn't. Your Rebbe taught you wrong. In Cheder, in Yeshiva, you didn't get the Mechlokas right, which means, what do you mean? What happens now when we're switching? All is well, according to Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan is the one who said, Hekdesh ain't moving from here. Hekdesh is like the mitnachlim, not moving from here until what? Until the full thing is finished, right? That's what Rabbi Yochanan said. And that's what Rabbi Yochanan, all the time said Rabbi Yochanan says. And Rish Lakish is the one who's being easy and lenient. And Rish Lakish says, no. Rish Lakish says, pay now, 1 shekel for $1 billion worth of the whatever. The hekdesh is removed. There is no bitul mekach. All is fine and all is nice. No bitulim. All is nice. Later, pay the rest with the rabbanon. That's what we want to say. Now, b'maika miflagi, according to this, what was machlokas Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish? And that's actually very, very easy. What was the machlokas? But the Shmuel, machlokas was regarding Shmuel, the Omer Shmuel, because Shmuel is the one who said, as we saw before, do we or don't we agree with Shmuel? That's machlokas. What did Shmuel say? Hekdesh shove money, hekdesh worth 100 dinar or zuz. Yeah, shechilal al shove pruta was mischalal for a fraction of the price. Mechulal, Shmuel says no problem. Mechulal, he's not addressing the debt, yes or no. He's talking about the ikra chilul. Yeah, it works right away. Mar isle de Shmuel. Who believes in Shmuel? Well, according to the current versions of Shlakish, who's on Shmuel's easy street level, that what? All is well, no bitul, the amounts don't matter, the kedusha is spiritual and just poofs goes away. And what? And the rest, maybe pay later, different story. Uma, Rabbi Yochanan, leisle de Shmuel. Rabbi Yochanan didn't believe in Shmuel. Why? Because it's pasuk erkecho. Spiritual. If really the erkecho is the pasuk that Rabbi Yochanan believes in, erkecho means you have to pay up till the end. It's a condition of the Torah. This is one explanation. So far, so good.
If you give a quota for a money, if the money's still owed, is Shmuel saying that?
No, he didn't address it. He didn't talk about it. So he didn't address that point. They're addressing it. Okay. Here comes another potential explanation of what was the argument between Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. And now we're going to talk more about the pay later area. Up until now, it wasn't so, it's become less marginal now, the idea of having to pay later. Another way to explain again, what did Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish argue about? Now, we have a question, who said what, right? Between Rabbi Yoina and Rabbi Yirmiyah. But definitely somebody says that what? That the hekdesh is redeemed straight away and the extra money is given only with the Rabbanon. The other one says, no. The money has to be given with the Oraisa. Otherwise, it's not a deal. Yeah? It's not mechulan. No. It's not a third opinion. No. It's another interpretation of how to explain Machlokas Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. Yes, but it's not against Rabbi Yoina or Rabbi Yirmiyah. No. They both can fit into both Rabbi Yoina and Rabbi Yirmiyah. Thank you. It's a good point. We're not arguing now Rabbi Yoina and Rabbi Yirmiyah. That's what I said. Somebody thinks something. In other words, we just leave the opinions alone, except Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. Let's focus only on Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. They argued about eat now, pay later, right? Basically, there's another explanation to that in the Kuda. Okay. Leave Rabbi Yirmiyah and Rabbi Yoina out of the picture. Both can fit into both. And what's a machloikis? We may have to see Rashi, may not. It's actually not hard, but there's a chukchik here. Ibai Sema. The Kula Alma, Islu de Shmuel. Everyone believes in Shmuel. Everyone believes that what? Really, Me'ikar Adin, Midoraisa, Shmuel is right. I can redeem the kedusha of 1,000,000 for 1 shekel. That is Me'ikar Adin. We all believe in Shmuel. So what's the argument? Here the questions as follows. That's the argument. Let me pause for a second. If you go to your LOR, local Orthodox rabbi, and ask him, Rabbi, I really wanted barbecue tonight. I'm fantasizing, barbecue has been so long, Corona. I want to have a nice party tonight. And that neighbor has that very delicious looking sheep. Hekdesh, I'm strapped for cash and I only have 100. Can I lechatchila redeem his 2,000 shekel sheep for 100 shekel and pay later? Or is it lechatchila not good? Is that Ratzon Torah? And here we're going to combine both erkecha and the other factor of bitul mekach be'ekdesh. Malsova, one opinion holds Malsova shechila loy in, if already redeemed, if you already did it, if it's a done deal, and the 2,000 shekels, you gave 100, but the Eved, you did it already. The rabbi strokes his beard and goes, but the Eved, it's chal, go have your barbecue. Lechatchila loy. Lechatchila, don't do it. And we're going to see Rashi why. I want to see Rashi inside. Lechatchila, that's not what you have to do, which means mideoraisa, you should have given all the money. Now listen to this. Mideoraisa, you will have to give the money. Very interesting. We're now dividing it into two different stories. And now I like it now because now we're introducing both factors. There's the kedusha and there's business. It's my sheep, I'm owed money, right? It's Hekdesh's sheep, Hekdesh is owed money. Which means, mitzad the kedusha was removed. You gave 10 shekel for 2,000 sheep, the kedusha is removed. But the rest, the 1,909 that you have to give, is not a nice Rabbanan recommendation on the side. It's midoraisa that you have to give it. Because Hekdesh shouldn't lose midoraisa. Why? Er kecho means give the full value. It's true that on one hand, there is no or extra charging by Hekdesh. That's true mitzad eno lekdesh and bitul mekach. But mitzad sheni, there's also having to give the sum. Mitzad Hekdesh is at the end of the day owed the money, and that's not a side thing with the Rabbanon. Ellen should be happy now. Umar Sover, the other opinion says no. Afilu lechatchila. The other opinion says no. The redeeming of 10 shekel of a 2,000 shekel sheep is all lechatchila. No problem. Erkecha means anything, and it stays anything. And Erkecha means no value has to be given. Hekdesh ain't bitul mekach lehekdesh. I can give midoraisa, the eved lechatchila, anything in between, all good. Rabbanon came later and they said, Shepsele, excuse the pun, give him the extra. Rabbanon tell you, give him the extra money so Hekdesh doesn't lose, but that's aside the Rabbanon thing, but midoraisa lechatchila can redeem. You can redeem the redeeming itself midoraisa, no problem. Yeah? In other words, we both agree, Shmuel. The question is to what level, what quality. Okay? I can see Rashi inside. Are you good? Fine. Hey boys, I want to see Rashi because I think I mixed it up with Eric. No, allow me to see Rashi, and then I'll hear you. No, Shechiloli, look at Rashi. I want to be more sure that I know what I said is right, but I'm not sure I connected the Erkecho and the Bitul Mekach to the right place. The line is you have the widest lines in Rashi, but not the widest, wide, but not the widest. Yeah, the middle wide lines. Shechiloli in. It's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines from the bottom of the middle size line. At the end of the line it says Shechiloli in the ho'imit me'oino. In other words, once you mechalel the kedusha 10 shekels for 2,000, imit. In other words, oino doesn't apply. Lo ishna gdola v'lo ishna ktana. That we say, oino, according to this opinion, even if oino is 1,000,000 times more, it's still called oino. It doesn't have a new name, bitul mekach, according to this opinion. And therefore, what? Oino, mitzad business with Hekdesh is easy. I can do what? Redeem the kedusha, 10 shekel for 1,000,000,000, no problem. Lechatchila loy. So why don't do it lechatchila? Because there's the other factor here. The Dvar Torah, the Er Kicha, Shavyo Mashma. Get it? In other words, it's true mitzad the business, no problem. Poof, poof. 1 shekel for 1,000,000. But Lamaisa, the Torah does tell you lechatchila, give the full amount. It's a Torah requirement to do Er Kicha. It's not a stira. Hekdesh has to get the money as a financial entity. Oh, I'm on the horse now. As a financial entity, Hekdesh is also not a human being, more than human being. So Mimela, you have to give all the money because Erkecha, but the kedusha poofing away, that we say 1 shekel does the business for everything. So if by the Ebed you sort of put the cart before the horses, but Lamaisa it's going. Umar Sovar continues Rashi, the other opinion says no. You can tick both boxes and it's good. Mitzad overpricing Hekdesh, no problem. Mitzad oino and all that business. Mitzad the posuk Erkecha, also good. Oichgit. Erkecha means anything. Hilkach lafku isur v'afil midrabanan shari. Wow. Even midrabanan to start off the chatchila, the most frum brisk chazonish satmer rav will tell you no problem. 10 shekel for 2,000 sheep, go barbecue tonight. After some time, you owe the debt midarabanan. Midarabonin. Good. Yeah, I think that was clear enough. What? The locha is that I don't know what's the locha because when we get to the end of the sugya, I do know the locha. Not true. No. You see, such a low self-esteem when it comes to know the halacha at the end of the sugya. No. I actually do know because I saw it in the Rambam. It's not. I saw it in the Rambam. Rambam says la halacha that it's redeemed. Midorabanan, you have to give the money. Yeah, afterwards. Yeah, that's halacha. The halacha is barbecue tonight. Woo-hoo! Barbecue tonight. Hey, what a deal. 10 shekel, a 2,000 shekel fee for 10 shekels. Yay. Mitzad the kedusha. Says the Rambam, go and enjoy yourself. Midorabonon, you have to come up with the rest of the money. Eat now, pay later. The how much is 2,000 minus 10? It's 1,999. Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's 2,000 minus 10 shekels. And all that you have to give him at some point. I was a professor of math in Yale before I started. I made up my own math. That's yeah.
So if someone goes to the
Excellent question, Banlin. The answer is what happens the other way? Let's just talk in big numbers to make it easier for me. Let's say it's the other way. The computer is worth 4,000. I came to base Mikdash and I gave them 6,000. And I'm not generous. And now I'm not generous. I'm Polish. I'm not generous. I'm of Polish origin. And now what? Surrounded by seasoned scholars of the Prime League. Very good. Which means Hekdesh will not pay me back, even if a claim was a mistake. It's like an ender. That's Hekdesh. And therefore it's a one-sided thing. If I owe Hekdesh and Midurabanon, I'll have to come up with a difference. But if it's the other way, if Hekdesh took too much from me, I was a willing partner. But later on, I said, I didn't know. No, once you give the money to Hekdesh, there's no refund, no getting back. Hekdesh is holier than thou. Weiter, we are 3 minutes to the end of the Shiur. You know which country we're in right now, of course. Yeah, you do. So now let's continue. Now comes a big shock. It's a third third. It's a second Ibai, which is the third opinion. Up until now, just a small intro, but it's not hard. It's just very out of the box kind of idea. Up until now, why did we attack Rabbi Yoina? Because we said, listen, for sure, Rabbi Yochanan and Shlakish, who argue about changes in price, to call it generally, they surely spoke about changing the price more than a 6, right? Because if it's a 6, then you're both right in different ways. Rish Lakish cannot argue in our Mishnah, right, and say that it's all no deal and Hekdesh is not going anywhere, if there's a difference over the 6. The Mishnah jolly well said, comes now the Gemara, listen to this, Iboy Sema, it's the last Iboy Sema. Wow. Rish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan argue about a difference of a 6. That sheep, that computer, that whatever is worth how much is worth 5, is worth 6, let's say, and you gave 6 less or 6 more. Yeah, that's the argument below tepuch, and you don't have to now switch the opinions of Shlokish and Rabbi Yochanan in order to make it work for Rabbi Yoino. Now, of course, the question is what? The question we should all scream: can Rish Lakish argue in the Mishnah? Not arguing means what? Rish Lakish is the one who's machmir, and says what has to be, down to the last penny. Not the 6, not yes. How can you say that? The Mishnah says Einanolek Deishos. But Rav Chisda Kamiflagi, they argue on do they don't they agree to Rav Chisda. The Oma, what did Rav Chisda say? My Ein Lahem Oino. You know the words Ein Lahem Oino mean? Up until now we meant to say Ein Lahem Oino means even if you're schwindled to what? Schwindled or whatever, given over underpriced. The 6, yalla, let it go, let it glitch away, water's off duck back, and it's okay, even if it's all 6. And that's what Hekdesh would say. You gave more, less, Hekdesh, even a whole 6, it's still okay. No, Fakirti says, Einan betoira soino. Torah here would say they're not under the same conditions, numbers of Eino, which means, Dafilu pachas mikdoino choizer. Wow. They're not under the same standards. That's what I was looking for. They don't have the same standard of Eino or between Reuven and Shimon. When Reuven and Shimon say overpricing, you tell me, rabbis, you have PhD and I know. Yeah, let's say somebody was schwindled and he claims I was overpriced and he's asking you, I know you learn Hazor with this strange guy in 925. Well, what's the story there? No, how much can I go back to the store and claim my money back? How much? A 6. That's what I know. When he Hekdesh, verkehrt. We Hekdesh, we have to be more careful. And even if there's a difference of less than a 6, there's a difference of an 8, the difference of a 10, the difference of less than a 6, even then the Hekdesh doesn't go through. And that's Rish Lakish. Wow. And not Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says en oino lekdish means what? That hekdish has regular oino from 6 and above. Yishlaki says no. Hekdish more machmir. You have to fit in even more. Afilu pochas mikdei oino is choizer, and it's not called a deal by hekdish. And that's exactly what Yishlaki says. And the word en oino le what? En oino le kdeshois meant there's very, very much oino. There is no oino. The term oino, as we know it, meaning a 6, na. Oino applies even to less than a 6. We don't have that nice, comfortable margin of 6 by hekdesh. That's what it means. You don't have that much. A 6 can be a lot of money. You bought a 600 million corporation. A 6 is a shane amount. That's what lawyers take, right? Thank you. Mimela what? We say no, but no, we go down to the T, says Rish Lakish. And Mimela now, he is happy, Rabbi Yoino, because Rabbi Yoino never said otherwise over Rabbi Yochanan. My question now, and Tosa's question, something very, very funny happened in the Mishnah, because the Mishnah lumped them all together. Karka, Avodim, Shtors, and Hekdesh. They're not the same. The word en oino, by karka, of course it didn't mean the karka. you have to pay down to you makpid on 1 shekel. You buy a 3 million house in Ramat B'Shemesh, that's very nice and cheap. Of course you're not makpid on 1 shekel, right? So it's very funny. By karkoi savodim and shtos, eino means regular. There's no ino, and you can even give more than a 6, even a double, according to Tosis, a margin of error. By ekdesha, according to Rish Lakish, eino means just the other way around. We're being very particular, and even one prut or one isar is already akpodo. Thank you very much. Guys, okay, the shiur is over, and then I have something personal to say, very, very personal and private.